Hello, my name is Julian Terry. I'm 24 years old. I am half Irish, half German, but I was born and raised in Luxembourg, and I've been living in Belgium for the past 5 years in Brussels, studying psychology and working for ISIC. So how is this role connected to my future career plans, and where do I see myself after this internship? I wouldn't consider myself a person that has a clear vision or path of my future, but what I do know is that I would love to work for a global company that strives to have a global impact on the planet, and that it would allow me to travel, but also to have an impact on the ground. I'm not necessarily fixed on the destination. I'm pretty flexible with this, but if it would be Europe, I would love to be in one of the bigger cities for sure. So I would love to actually know how it is to work in a global company, and also to see what it is that I want to take forward in terms of career path, because I've been involved in a lot of different, let's say, fields. I've studied psychology, I've worked in sales, I've worked in finance, I've done HR already. So how can I combine this? And also, I think this role is more related to my studies compared to my last role, which is something that I'm kind of looking forward to and that I would love to explore. What do I know about International SOS, and how would I explain what the company does to a new ISIC member? So International SOS is basically like a huge insurance company that is the world's largest medical and travel security services firm and protects millions of people globally. So basically International SOS helps companies and people mitigate their risks while traveling, but also has exact procedures on how to move forward and who to contact and how to bring the person back safely if something does happen. Also, International SOS has a global network of external services, such as specialist doctors, and also monitors and helps organizations to locate their people in times of crisis. Now, what is my understanding of the position and the main skills required? How can I contribute to them based on my skills and my experience? So obviously a GC is the link between ISIC and the company. So selling and communicating the value of ISIC within the company, creating new internal connections within the company, and upscaling obviously the partnership within the company. Then having to do the end-to-end recruitment process, and also then making sure that the interns have the best experience possible. So following up on the reception of the interns to ensure onboarding is done properly, to make sure that all the standards are delivered also to the intern. And then obviously to have and create a communication tool to be able to communicate with all and manage all the different stakeholders that I would be working with. And then in terms of my experience with ISIC, how it is linked to this, I think my ISIC experience roles have really brought me to this, I would say. For 1 year, I was the customer experience manager of ISIC in Belgium. So what I was doing, I was responsible for all the value delivery of all the interns, which was about 100 in that year. So I assisted them in arriving to the country. I integrated them in the country. I integrated them into the company and also into the network of interns that we have, creating gatherings and basically just monitoring their development throughout their exchange, throughout their internship. And obviously this opportunity gave me, or this role gave me the opportunity to have a lot of also meetings with managers, with hiring managers, and to see what is it that they're looking for, what are their expectations. Then compared to the role that I had this year, which was actually selling the product in ISIC, so I was the product head, so I was selling global talent to companies, and here I was obviously more in contact with the HR people of the company, so it really gave me an overview in comparison to the hiring managers also. What is it that they want, what are their expectations, and how can we adapt our supply to their needs basically. And then also I've been responsible for recruitment also in ISIC already, so I would say that all my roles kind of fit combined into this job description. Now, what are my top 3 strengths and my top 3 weaknesses, and how do I influence my working style? First of all, I would say that I'm a very proactive person. I'm action oriented, so I really have a proactive approach to my work, to my working style, and I really like to get things done. Second of all, I believe that I have good or high emotional intelligence. I love to interact with people, and I think I'm very good with people, with understanding people, understanding the situation and adapting to it, and also adapting my communication style to it, which obviously comes from my psychology background, but also from my interest that I've always had in people and in understanding people and in reading people. And third of all is positivity. So I love to spread positivity, I love to spread positive vibes, and especially to have this in the working area, I think really makes me, and I think also people in general, more productive when you are in a positive working space with the people around you. And then in terms of weaknesses, I would say that I am not the most organized person in the world. So 2 years ago, I was still the kind of person to write all my notes on Post-its and to have them spread across my desk, which I don't do anymore, thankfully. I have now a calendar and a drive and everything that I use on a daily basis. But yes, also in terms of implementing a routine has never really been the most effective for me, um, due to, let's say, this me being not the most organized person. But it's something that I'm definitely working on. Then, second of all, I would say impulsive. So I'm in somebody that lives off my emotions, in good and in bad times. So, like I said before, I'm action oriented. I like things to be done. So if they're not done, or if they're lacking, or if they're being held up for no reason, I can get impulsive with my reactions. And it brings me also to my third point, which is impatient. Um, I can get impatient then, and then this also links to me being unorganized, because then I move on to other things, or I try and do multiple things at the same time. And then moving on to the last question. Based on the partnership's history, what would you like to focus on for the term 2021? So the partnership's history, since 2013, there's been over 130 trainees, with a retention rate of 60% in locations such as the UK, the US, Singapore, Dubai, and France. And based on the number of opportunities open, I can see that this has been growing over the last few years. So in terms of action space, or focuses for the term, I think the first thing would be to actively get more involved with the supply. So not just wait for the supply to come, but really get involved, not just with the business development side of ISIC, but really with the outgoing exchange side of ISIC entities, and really proactively go and look for the supply. Then, second of all, how to improve the ISIC experience of the interns. So how to make sure that we can work properly together with the ISIC entities such as ISIC in UK, to really have a proper communication style and proper working style together, to ensure the best experience for the interns. And then third of all, how can we expand within the company and bring awareness within the company, not just within the UK, but also within the region. So for example, look for opportunities in Switzerland, which I know is happening now, or also in other countries within the region. Thank you very much.